morning, Victor High School. I'm Allie Cook, and we decided to do something different for today's episode of the Victor Voice. We asked students, teachers, and an administrator some questions about student representation.
Hi, I'm Gabriella West, and I'm here with Sophia D'Amico, and we're going to be talking about student voice and student representation in Victor. So my first question for you is, can you complete this sentence of Victor student voices are what?
I think Victor student voices are heard in some situations.
Heard?
They are not heard at all.
Unheard, unrepresented, and uncounted for.
Not heard.
I'm not heard as like it's supposed to be.
Timid.
Can you expand on that?
For example, like what we're doing right now is a good way to like share student voices, but they're not always heard.
I believe if students want to be heard, they have the power to be heard. It's just knowing who to talk to get your voice heard.
I think that administration doesn't take student voices seriously. I just don't think they're heard at all.
Every time we talk about something, it's ignored and there's nothing that's happening and there's nothing that they're doing to fix it.
They're there, but they haven't been empowered to be much more than quiet and responsive as opposed to loud and active.
Efforts are being made. I don't think we're there yet.
What's an example of when student voices were or were not heard or represented?
For example, like in the virtual learning process, there was a lot of difficulty with that, and I feel like some students communicated issues, but they weren't always recognized.
Something went around and they had a sign if we were supposed to go back to school or not. Nobody talked about it and nobody did anything about it.
There was a petition last year, and I heard over like 500 to 1,000 people signed it, and the school just completely ignored it.
The petition was started where over 1,000 students signed it, and it was just like thrown out. Everybody forgot about it because the administration didn't do anything about it. It's the slogan incident outlining the diversity at Victor, and it was cut, and the administration cut it down.
A student who made a logo, and Victor changed it without the student's permission, and I feel like it took away from what that student wanted to do.
When students were represented, boy, I'm going to struggle with that one. So I'm going to go to where they weren't. The changing of the schedule last year. The overwhelming percentage of students did not want a change, that they've already had too much change. It might be true that it is somewhat irrelevant what the students want.
Why should or shouldn't students have a say in how the school operates or their education?
I think it's important that students have a say because they know what's best for them in their education experience.
Well, I feel like the students should be comfortable and like they know what they like and what makes them feel comfortable and safe. And I feel like the staff and just the school itself should respect that.
We're here 5 days a week. We're here most of our lives. I feel like if we're going to be here all the time, we should have a say in what goes on.
We don't have a say in anything we do. I want to go to a school that has opportunities for all, equal opportunities for all. I want to go to a school where everybody feels equal.
We don't have the resources. I would absolutely love students to be able to have far more elective choice or experience-based learning or something like that. We just don't have the resources. And I don't know yet whether or not that's something even the district values. I don't know that the school district values that level of choice and freedom. And that's, neither here nor there.
I think Victor tries. I don't know if it's succeeding yet.
Students should have a say to an extent because it's their education. They should feel comfortable in their school. They should feel like they are getting what they need and have the tools to be successful.
Do you think that issues that happen in the school are addressed or ignored for the most part?
I think some of them could be addressed better.
I feel like they're ignored, or we get a little bit of context and we don't hear the full story correctly.
Once in a while I feel like they're addressed, but I see a lot that goes on in the school that never gets addressed.
Most part they ignore it.
The administration does not do anything about what the students care for. They just talk to themselves and agree on something when the students should be accounted for.
That's a good question. That's a real good question. It seems as though when students raise alarm bells about an issue, that I don't see a lot of movement from the adult world. So even if they are addressed, they're not necessarily addressed at the same rate or level of importance as, you know, issues that the adults find.
I have to believe that administration and people are trying to address every situation.
What do you think the school could do better to represent the students?
I think maybe just like generally asking them what they think on certain things more.
You listen to the ideas we have.
I feel like they should hear their voices more, and we should have like something where students can put their ideas or something they want changed that Victor can look at.
Have more student input instead of just talking to themselves and coming up with the conclusion that no students agree on.
I think culturally we need to be better educated. I think there's a real cultural gap that kids just don't get.
On the next episode, we ask the same questions about student representation to Mr. Siesto to hear an administrator's point of view.
Stay tuned for the next episode.